Hey everyone, I'm here with Sophia, and today we're going to be installing this little life vest into her carriage so her little sister can ride along with her.
Yes.
Stay tuned. These are some of the tools and materials that we're going to be using for our project. We've got a drill, grommet kit, Phillips screwdriver, marker, drill bit, pink zip ties, and a child's life vest. Based on my initial observation, I feel that this may be too tall for our toddler. So I'm gonna find a way to remove the pads that are inside and make some modifications so that when she sits down, it doesn't rub up on her legs here or rub up on the collar. We're gonna put our slit right around here so that when we put the foam back, it doesn't fall out. Maybe I'll go a tad bit higher. You can see I made a slit, not the entire width, and about 1.25 inches off the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it, trim it, see how it turns out. This is what the pads look like inside. As you can see, they're different heights. I'm gonna mark them, making sure I keep them in order, and start trimming the tops and bottoms. I went ahead and labeled them 1 through 4, and I've also drawn out a line to where I believe would be comfortable for our baby's leg to go through. And I took a guess at where the top cut should be. That should give it about 2 inches off the top. I think that'll be enough clearance for her neck. Now that I have the first one cut out, I'm gonna use this as a template to cut the other ones so they're all the same. Now I have them all cut relatively the same. And as a side note, if you're going to use the first one as a template, you don't have to number them. That would come in handy if you were gonna keep the tapered part up top. So after the fact, I realized that moving forward, there won't be any numbering, but I will use one of these to copy onto the other side. Next, we're gonna try to put it back into its original slot. This is what it looks like when you put everything back together. As you can see, there's a cutout here where the original one does not have one. And there's a nice amount of clearance here versus the other one. I purposely left one out so that I can use as a template for this side. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same slit on the other side, remove the foam inserts, cut them out based on the template, and put it all together. This is what it looks like once you put all the foam pads back on both sides. As you can see, there's clearance for the legs here, and they're much shorter than they were originally. I did want to show you though, on the inside, depending on the slit you make and where you make it, it's gonna look something like this, so don't be alarmed. The material is very stretchy, so you don't have to worry about getting it in, but just keep in mind that a solution will have to take place if you want. Also keep in mind that this will not be used for swimming whatsoever, so there's no risk of those foam inserts coming out and possibly becoming a hazard for your child as they swim. So when you do this, just make sure you know that This is no longer going to be for swimming, and it's going to live inside the carriage or the power wheel that you may have, and that you're no longer going to place it inside of a swimming pool. Next, we're going to take this grommet kit and place some grommets on the actual vest to help us put the zip ties through and fasten it to the actual seat. This particular vest has 2 foam inserts in the back. I'm going to keep one in place and put a grommet through to help it be sturdier. Now we move down to the ground to have a sturdier surface, because it's going to involve using a punch to make a hole through the foam and the fabric, along with this small wood block that's provided with the kit. As you can see, you've got a clear hole made through the foam and the fabric. So the next step is to put an actual grommet through and put it all together. These grommets are a 2-part system. You've got one that goes over the other one and sandwiches the material. This is how you put them on. You bring one through the bottom. It's going to look like that. You bring this other one through the top. Put it on the wood block, along with this here. You set it down. Set the punch on top, hit it with a hammer. Now when it's all said and done, you should have something similar to this. However, this is what I'm noticing. It went through the foam, but because the fabric's so stretchy, we have some of it off to the side. So I'm gonna try to find a solution on the other one. For this next one, I'm gonna make a small hole with the blade. And this should give me room to squeeze the actual punch through. What I'm also gonna do on this next one is just use the blade and go through the foam on the other side and avoid the punch. See if that's gonna give us we're gonna avoid this punch here. That's gonna give us a cleaner way to fasten the grommet. So I've started off with that. Next is to go ahead and follow the blade through and then bring the actual grommet through that hole that I made. As you can see, the blade coming out the other side. It turns out that the method of running the actual blade all the way through works a little bit better. It grips more of the material, as you can see here. And this was the first attempt with the punch, which I don't recommend. So moving forward, we have 2 parts that we can zip tie to. We're gonna do the bottom and show you how that turns out. Here's what the vest looks like with the 4 grommets in place. As you can see, this one didn't turn out as good as the other ones. Not sure what happened there, but I think this is one of those things that practice makes perfect. The next step is going to be to put this vest up to the back seat and mark the holes so we can drill and have a pass-through for the zip ties. I went ahead and made 4 small markings of where I intend to drill. Now, I know there's a little bit of wiggle room. Just want to show you guys where those 2 are up there. Now these 2 down here, one is on the actual back seat. The other one is a bit lower on what seems to be the bottom of the seat. So I'm going to go ahead and just make them exact same as this one. Next, I'm going to remove this back seat and drill the holes. I've gone ahead and drilled the 4 holes, and I've also added a second hole to each one, therefore making it 4 pairs. Reason being is that, as you can see with this zip tie example, it's got to go through one side, in through the grommet, and fasten back to the actual seat. So make sure you do pairs like this. Got 1 pair, 2, 3, and 4. Next, I'm going to be attaching the vest, zipping up the zip ties, and fastening the seat. Here's what the finished product looks like once everything is zipped up and the back seat is fastened again. As you can see, the zip ties are going through the grommet. The fabric is sort of stretchy in some areas, so I'm happy I did put the grommet through the actual foam insert. Aside from that, I think it turned out pretty good. Next, we're gonna put the child in it and see how she fits. All right, guys, it's said and done. Sophie and Emma are in the carriage, and as you can see, Emma's pretty buttoned up, which is making me and mommy very happy. Okay, girls, let's take it for a spin. Say bye.
Bye. We're gonna take it for a spin.